In the last video, I started working on the leg design for my new Hexapod robot. Today, we'll be finishing the mechanical assembly and start working on some of the electronics. So without further ado, let's get started. The current design for the leg is quite functional, and to be honest, not much needs to be changed. In the previous video, however, I did mention a handful of things I wanted to modify about the design to help improve functionality and assembly times. To start, I redesigned the servo holder for the first servo in the joint to add a spot for it to attach to the body plates of the Hexapod. Each leg will get attached to the main body with either 2 or 4 M3 screws, depending on whichever is easiest. I then broke up the tibia portion of the leg into 2 pieces, the main tibia and the foot tip. I did this so that I could print the foot tips in different materials to help improve grip, while also making the parts a bit easier to print out. They get attached together using a single M3 screw and a captive square nut inside the foot tip. I also increased the length of this bracket for the tibia so that the leg has a wider range of motion. I kept the overall lengths of each part of the leg the same as before, since the size of the prototype leg seemed proportionally correct. After making these changes, I decided to print out the parts and assemble another leg to see if things were working as expected. While assembling, I started to get frustrated with the tiny M2 screws I was using for the brackets, since they were harder to drive in than the other screws. But besides that, the design changes were working as intended. I went back into Fusion 360 one more time, this time modifying all of the brackets on the leg so that they are now all put together using 2 M3 screws and 2 captive M3 square nuts, instead of the M2 screws with the threaded inserts I was previously using. I did this to help decrease the number of parts used for the robot overall, and to reduce the price since the threaded inserts can be more expensive depending on where you buy them from. I also switched out the M4 screws and threaded inserts on the femur for M3 screws and captive nut slots as well. For the body of the Hexapod, I'm going to keep things simple for now by only adding a space to mount necessary components. The main microcontroller, likely an Arduino Mega for now, 2 PCA 9685 16-channel servo drivers, and a battery. The body will consist of 2 plates that get sandwiched together and connected to the servo holders for each of the 6 legs. To support the center of the body, I'll be using these custom spacers that have slots for 2 M3 square nuts. 4 of these should be enough to keep the body rigid and prevent any flexing during movement. The 2 servo drivers and the other power management stuff will be mounted to the inside portion of the body plate using some generic mounting screws. In the future, I'd like to mount some more electronics to the body, like a Raspberry Pi Zero, Pi camera, an IMU, and any other sensors I'd like to mess around with. There's plenty of space for all that. I'll just need to modify the design a bit more to add mounting holes for everything else when the time comes. That'll have to wait until later though. So for now, let's get these parts printed and start assembling the robot. Assembling the legs is a straightforward yet repetitive process. One important thing to note is that half of the legs will need to be assembled mirrored. This will make it easier to program later on when I'm working on the software. Otherwise, I might have to do some extra math when working on the kinematics for the robot. Before I can mount the assembled legs to the body plates, I need to calibrate each leg. The calibration process is simple. I just set each servo motor to a specific angle and then reattach the brackets in the correct position. It's important to do this now so that when I'm programming the Hexapod to walk later, I can assume each leg will move to the same position for a given angle, hopefully within some small margin of error. It also ensures that I get the full range of motion needed to actuate the legs during movement. To help with this, I made a simple Arduino sketch that will move each servo to the correct positions for the mounting brackets and then test the range of motion for each joint. With the legs calibrated, I began attaching them to the bottom body plate. Here I'm just using some of the leftover M3 12mm screws and M3 lock nuts to secure the legs to the bottom plate. The lock nuts will ensure things stay rigid and connected, protecting them from vibrations during movement. The top plate will be connected in a similar fashion using the same M3 screws, except this time I'm just using regular M3 nuts. To keep the middle portion of the plates rigid, I installed the 4 spacers to the middle of the body plate. This will hopefully prevent the plates from warping or bowing in the middle. And with that, I've completed the mechanical assembly for the Hexapod. I'm quite happy with how the robot has turned out. The aesthetic is on point for what I was going for, with a simple yet sleek design. It almost looks like a wireframe outline of a hexapod rather than a hexapod itself, which I think looks pretty cool. Not only that, but I'm also happy with the amount of space I have to mount some electronics like a Raspberry Pi, camera, and IMU, among other things. That being said, let's get started on the electronics and hopefully get part of the robot working by the end of this video. For the electronics, as discussed in the last video, I'll be controlling the servos using 2 I2C servo drivers, one for each half of the robot. These drivers use I2C to communicate and will be connected to the Arduino Mega via its I2C pins 20 and 21. In order to connect the 2 drivers to a single I2C line, I first need to bridge the A1 jumper on one of the drivers. This changes that driver's address from the default 40 to 41 in hexadecimal. Now I can communicate with both drivers on a single line without issue. To power the drivers, I picked up this SBEC, or Switched Battery Eliminator circuit, from Amazon. By setting the desired output voltage using the included jumper, you can produce a regulated output voltage and provide up to 20 amps of current. The SBEC will help convert the input voltage from a LiPo battery to a usable 6 volts for the servo motors. Unfortunately, I don't have the correct LiPo battery at the moment, so for this video I'll just stick to powering the legs one at a time using the 5V 4A power supply I used to test the legs before. The 2 servo drivers get mounted to the bottom plate using some M2.5 screws. Each driver is powered from 5 volts via the Arduino Mega, and their I2C pins are both connected to the I2C interface on the Arduino. Some of the servo cables are too short to reach the drivers or would simply have too much stress put on them during movement. So to fix this, I picked up some servo extension cables, which should give the cable enough slack so that the robot's legs can move freely. All 6 legs get connected to the driver on the corresponding side of the robot. Now that everything is connected, let's go ahead and test out the movement for each leg. Alright, So we have everything wired up. We have these 3 legs wired up to the left servo driver, and we have these 3 wired up to the right servo driver. And then we have, in the inside, we have the 2 servo drivers daisy chained together for the I2C and power. And then we have that coming out and going to the Arduino Mega, resting on the top of the Hexapod. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run a script that'll allow me to test each of the legs one at a time, so that one, I don't blow power because the power supply I'm using is only 5 volts, 4 amps, and I need way more than that to power more than one leg at a time. But 2, just to minimize anything breaking or slamming into tables or anything like that. So the code that I wrote here is pretty simple. It initializes both of the drivers using the Adafruit library. And then I'm using the same command parser that I designed for the robot arm to basically allow me to actuate each of the legs individually. And I also added another command to just disable all of the servos, and the hope is that there will be no current draw from the servos if I disable it between moving them each. Then there's some more math here, just mapping the angles and mirroring it for the other side. We have the config, which has all the servo channels, the microsecond range, the max angle, min angle, all that good stuff. So this is the first time I'm testing out moving all of the legs put together like this. So we're gonna go ahead and start with powering the driver. We're doing the left side first because each driver is going to be powered individually. So 5 volts, 4 amps going into the left driver. And now I go ahead and plug in the Arduino Mega. And I'm going to go ahead and upload the sketch again. All right, done uploading. Open up the serial monitor. And now you can see it says setting up right servo driver, setting up left, ready. So we're going to start by actuating leg 1. So the way the legs are numbered, this is leg 1, and then you just count in counterclockwise. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So let's try actuating leg 1. Extends it out. Yep. So that worked, but as you can see, the robot is too close to the table, so I almost broke it. So I'm just gonna have to kind of stack it up a bit higher. So it doesn't hit the table again. I'm gonna have it move the first 2 joints first, so that it'll go like that, and then it'll move the tibia. That way we don't crash into the table and break anything. All right, made all of the changes to the code. So now I should be able to go ahead and try leg 1 again. So again, let me tilt this a bit. We're paying attention to this leg right here, this back leg. So it should straighten out like so. And then it should, oh, I see what the problem is. I'm going the wrong way. Turns out I had the angles going in the opposite direction, which is the real reason it kept hitting the table. So now we should definitely be good. All right, let's try this again. Leg 1. Straighten it out. Move up and move down. So as you can see, leg 1 is working. So let's go ahead and hit disable. The leg drops down. Let's try leg 2. This is wobbling because I actually didn't attach the top plate, but I probably should because I think the servos are strong enough to snap the plate if I don't attach this correctly.
One eternity later.
All right, let's try, just do it again in order, starting with leg 1. Leg 1, working perfectly, disable. Leg 2. Leg 2, perfect. Disable. Leg 3. Disable. Alright, So now that we know all of the legs on the left side are working, I'm gonna go ahead and switch the power over to the right driver, and we're gonna try out legs 4 through 6 now. All right, there we go. This thing's pretty sturdy. It's not going anywhere. And this time, we're gonna be testing this portion of the robot, these legs. All right. Can you see them? And I have to hurry up, the camera's about to die. Disable, make sure everything's off. We're gonna start with leg 4, which is this leg right here, I believe. So leg 4. And down. So leg 4 is working. So leg 5, oh wait, disable. So that's disabled. Leg 5. Leg 5 is working. Disable. Leg 6. And leg 6 is working. All right, so that's really good news. And I disabled it, so it fell down. All right, that's really good news. All of the legs are functioning, all of the servos are working, and I have the software to basically command any angle for all of the legs. So this is great progress. Next up, I need to work out the power management so that I can power all of the 6 legs at the same time with ideally a LiPo battery and then the SBEC I picked up from Amazon. I might need a second one, but we'll talk about that next time. And I think then it's just working on, inverse kinematics, walk cycles, mostly software. So I'm really excited to dig into that and get working on that. But yeah, all the legs are working. I'm really happy with how this thing looks, and it's pretty huge, by comparison. I didn't think it would be this big, but I'm kind of happy it is now that I see it in person. So yeah, this was a successful first test. The Hexapod is turning out great so far. I can't wait to program this thing and get it walking. I have so many plans and ideas for it that I can't wait to show you guys in the coming videos. If you're a fan of my content and you want to see more exciting projects like this one, then you should consider supporting me over on Patreon. As a Patreon member, you get access to behind the scenes posts about this project and others, and depending on the tier you choose, you can also receive shoutouts and your name in the credits of my videos. To support, you can visit patreon.com/Stewart Technologies. You can find the link in the description down below. If you like this video, share with a friend, and be sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell to receive notifications when the next video drops. Thanks for watching. Shout out to new Patreon member Cdon. Thank you for your support.